Modern slavery and human trafficking is happening here in Bermuda. Whether we realize it or not, it's happening in our homes, in our communities, in our towns, and in our cities across this country. Did you know that traffickers will groom children and youth to be sex trafficked and sexually exploited? Here's what the grooming process looks like. Traffickers intentionally look for and target children and youth, girls and boys. They can be really young, graduating high school and entering college, or somewhere in between. They can be of any race that makes up Bermuda: Portuguese, Jamaican, British, Filipino, Canadian, American. They can be doing well in school or not, having a few friends or tons, come from a stable home environment, or growing up in foster care. It can be any child, any youth that the trafficker feels like they can potentially groom. Traffickers will look for targets pretty much anywhere that children and youth will be. In online chat rooms and social media platforms, and places where we might think young people are safer, at school, sport clubs, youth groups, organized extracurricular activities. Any places that older youth may spend time as they transition into adulthood, like bars, clubs, universities, and colleges. Once a trafficker finds a potential target, they will look for ways to make contact with them. They might send a friend request or a message hoping for a response. They may bump into their target at the mall, after school, at a social event, then start up a conversation. They may try to help by offering the child or youth a lift or giving advice and acting as a listening ear. Anything and any way to make contact. Next, they will find ways to maintain this contact. They'll build a relationship with the young person, portraying themselves as safe and trustworthy and as someone cool and fun to be around. They want the child or youth to want to spend time with them. They accomplish this by showering their target with gifts, trying to impress, providing favors, appearing to be supportive, and giving the potential victim lots of attention. As this relationship develops, the trafficker will continue the grooming process by normalizing negative behaviors. This can include introducing the child or youth to alcohol, drugs, and pornography. It can involve test touching through dares, massages, and play fighting. It could also mean sexualizing the child or youth through activities such as sexualized chatting, flirting, sexting, and the gift of sexualized clothing and items. All of this is meant to isolate the child or youth, encourage them to keep secrets, and create situations where what the young person is doing can be used against them. Once negative behaviors are normalized in this relationship, traffickers will find ways to reinforce their control over the child or youth. They might point out how great it is that they're treating the young person like an adult. They make it seem like life was boring and no fun before they met. They'll create fear and dependency, issuing threats, isolating their victim, and using intimidation. From here, the trafficker will introduce and push the child or youth into a situation of sex trafficking or sexual exploitation. They'll normalize this by saying things like, "Lots of people do this, and we all have to do things we don't like at times." They may make it seem like the child or youth is doing them a favor by going with a sex buyer, saying, "This is what friends do for each other." The trafficker may blackmail their victim, telling them they should have known what to expect and that we don't get anything for free in life. They often use information, pictures, and videos they gather through the normalization of negative behaviors to force their victims into sex trafficking and sexual exploitation. They may use violence to get what they want. The grooming of a child or youth can happen over months or years, or it can take place in mere minutes or hours. Modern slavery and human trafficking violates human rights and prevents all people from living freely. While there are people in our communities not experiencing freedom, we won't stop until there is freedom for all. You may think that it's not happening around you, but it is. Stand up against modern slavery and human trafficking so that it's not happening in our homes, in our communities, in our towns, and in our cities across the country. You can stand up against modern slavery and human trafficking so that it's not happening here. Get informed, learn more, get involved. For more information about modern slavery and human trafficking, visit our websites at